Hello, I'm Sarah, a 28-year-old graphic designer who thought I was living my dream life in the suburbs of Chicago. 3 years ago, I married Tom. He was charming, successful, and came from what seemed to be a respectable family. We had a beautiful wedding, bought a quaint house, and started building our lives together. I truly believed I had everything figured out, but appearances can often be deceiving. Tom's parents, Linda and Frank, appeared friendly enough at first. Linda would often bring over casseroles and offer advice, whether I asked for it or not. Frank was boisterous, always with a beer in hand, and prided himself on being the best driver around. "I'm the best in the state," he boasted. Sure. At first, their visits were manageable. A Sunday dinner here, a barbecue there. But soon it felt like they were always around. Linda would drop by unannounced, rearranging my kitchen cabinets as though I didn't know how to organize. Frank would take over our TV, blasting sports at full volume. "Tom, don't you think your parents are over a bit too often?" I asked one evening after they'd finally left. "Come on, Sarah, they're just being nice." "You're overreacting," he said. That word, overreacting, would soon haunt me. As time passed, I began noticing troubling patterns. Tom would constantly dismiss my concerns, always siding with his parents. He'd roll his eyes whenever I suggested spending some time alone. Little things would set him off, and then he'd brush it off, telling me to learn to take a joke when I felt hurt. "You're too sensitive," he'd say. Then came the weekend trip from hell. Tom's parents suggested we all visit their lake house. I wasn't keen on the idea, but Tom insisted. "It'll be fun," he said. "Stop being so dramatic." So I found myself cramped in the backseat of Frank's SUV. Linda sat beside me, chattering endlessly, while Frank sped down the highway as if it were a racetrack. "Frank, could you slow down a bit?" I asked, gripping the seat, my knuckles white. "Relax, sweetheart. I've been driving these roads for 40 years. I know what I'm doing." I looked at Tom, silently pleading for his support, but he just shrugged and went back to his phone. It was in that moment I realized, despite being surrounded by family, I was completely alone. As Frank took a sharp turn, tires screeching, I shut my eyes, wondering how I ended up here, with people who didn't respect me, married to a man who didn't seem to care. The tension in the car became unbearable as Frank sped down the winding road. "Frank, please, slow down. You're going too fast for these curves," I urged again. "Oh, lighten up, Sarah. I've driven this road 100 times," he said dismissively. Suddenly, a deer darted onto the road. Frank swerved sharply. The tires screeched and everything slowed down. The car spun out of control. I heard Linda scream. I saw Tom's phone fly from his hand. Then there was a deafening crash. Pain, unbearable pain, consumed me. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. There was glass everywhere, and the metallic taste of blood filled my mouth. Sirens wailed in the distance. The next few hours were a blur, bright lights, urgent voices, and excruciating pain. I caught snippets of conversation. Multiple fractures, internal bleeding, prep for surgery. I was terrified. Where was Tom? Why wasn't he with me? When I finally regained full consciousness, I was in the ICU, surrounded by machines beeping steadily. Every breath was agony. "Hey, you're awake," said Nicole, my best friend and an ER nurse. Her face was a mixture of relief and concern. "How are you feeling?" she asked. "Like I've been hit by a truck," I managed to croak. "Where's Tom?" Nicole's expression darkened. "He's outside, with his parents. Sarah, there's something you need to know." Just then, Tom walked in, his parents following closely behind. Frank had only a few scratches and Linda looked shaken. Unlike me, they were all walking. Tom stood by the doorway hesitant. "Oh honey," he said, but he didn't come closer. "You really scared us." "Scared them?" I couldn't believe my ears. "I scared you. Your dad nearly killed us all." Frank puffed up, looking indignant. "Now listen here." "Sarah," Tom interrupted, his tone patronizing, "you're overreacting. It was an accident. These things happen." I stared at him in disbelief. "Overreacting? I'm in the ICU, Tom." "Well, maybe if you hadn't distracted Dad with all your constant nagging about his driving." "That's enough." Nicole's sharp voice cut through the tension. "Sarah needs rest. You all need to leave." As she ushered them out, I caught bits of their conversation drifting in from the hallway. "I told you, she's always been dramatic," Linda said. Remember Thanksgiving? How she overreacted when Frank had a few extra beers. I know, Mom, Tom replied. I just don't know what to do with her anymore. Son, Frank chimed in, he can't let her manipulate you like this. Accidents happen. She needs to get over it. Tears rolled down my face as the truth hit me like a second crash. My husband, the man who promised to stand by me in sickness and in health, was taking his reckless father's side. They were painting me as the villain, the dramatic wife, while I lay there broken, in pain. Nicole returned, her face a mix of anger and sympathy. Sarah, I'm so sorry. I had no idea Tom was like this. As the pain meds began pulling me under, one thought crystallized in my mind. I was done. Done with Tom, done with his toxic family, done with being the scapegoat. If I survived this, things were going to change. I just needed to figure out how. The weeks following the accident were a blur of pain, physical therapy, and a slow, grueling recovery. Each day was a battle, but I was determined to regain my strength. Nicole was my rock, visiting daily, helping me through the hardest moments. You've got this, Sarah, she'd say. Surprisingly, my coworkers were also incredibly supportive. They sent care packages, covered my projects, and even started a meal train. Their kindness was a stark contrast to Tom's family. Tom's visits became rare and brief, always filled with excuses. Sorry, babe, work's been crazy. You understand, right? His parents were worse. Linda would waltz in, armed with backhanded comments disguised as concern. Oh, Sarah dear, still in that wheelchair? I thought you'd be up by now. My cousin's neighbor's dog groomer had a similar accident and she was fine in a week. I bit my tongue. Engaging with her wasn't worth it. The real turning point came when my brother Mike flew in from California. One look at me, then at Tom's detached expression, and I saw fury flash in his eyes. What the hell, man? Mike confronted Tom in the hallway. Your wife's been through hell, and you're acting like it's a minor inconvenience. Back off, Tom snarled. You have no idea what I've been dealing with. Sarah's milking this for all it's worth. I heard the scuffle, the thud of someone hitting the wall. Then Mike stormed back in, his knuckles white. Sarah, I'm getting you out of here, today. As Mike helped me pack, I noticed Tom's tablet on the nightstand. A notification popped up from someone named Amber. Curiosity got the better of me, and I tapped it. My world shattered all over again. Can't wait to see you tonight, babe. Sarah's still playing the victim. Dozens of messages, photos, and plans for secret rendezvous flashed before me. The evidence of Tom's betrayal was undeniable. Over the next few weeks, as I recovered at Mike's place, I began to plan. I reached out to Lisa, a lawyer friend from college. During our clandestine meeting, I told her everything. Sarah, what you're describing is emotional abuse, Lisa said firmly. We can build a strong case, especially with the evidence of his affair. I nodded, feeling a strange calm wash over me. What do I need to do? Document everything, texts, emails, witness statements, and be careful. Don't let them know you're planning this. With renewed determination, I threw myself into my recovery. Physical therapy, job applications, gathering evidence, it all gave me purpose. Then, out of the blue, I received an email from Jeremy, my old mentor. Sarah, heard about your accident. Hope you're well. We have an opening for a senior designer here in Boston. Interested? It felt like the universe was finally aligning in my favor. The day I confronted Tom, I felt a strange mix of dread and exhilaration. I waited until Tom got home, his usual dismissive attitude on full display. Tom, we need to talk. Can it wait? I'm tired. No, it can't. I know about Amber. His face turned pale. What are you talking about? I calmly pulled out a stack of printed messages. Your affair, Tom. I know everything. Sarah, it's not what you think. Save it, I cut him off. I'm filing for divorce. His shock quickly shifted to anger. You'll get nothing. My family will make sure of it. I smiled, cold and certain. We'll see about that in court. In the courtroom, my lawyer presented a meticulously prepared dossier, text messages, emails, and witness statements from friends and coworkers documenting Tom's neglect and his family's emotional abuse. Your Honor, my lawyer began, my client has endured years of emotional manipulation and gaslighting, culminating in her husband's affair while she was recovering from a near-fatal accident caused by her father-in-law's reckless driving. Tom's face shifted between rage and disbelief as the judge reviewed the evidence. His lawyer tried to object, but the proof was undeniable. Then came the bombshell. Furthermore, my lawyer added, "We have uncovered Mr. Evans's father's extensive history of reckless driving and multiple DUIs, which have been quietly settled out of court." In the end, the judge ruled in my favor. I was awarded a substantial settlement, including the house and half of our joint assets. Tom was livid, but there was nothing he could do. As we left the courthouse, I overheard him hissing at his parents. "This is your fault. If you hadn't pushed me to fight this, I could have settled quietly." I walked away, head held high, ready to start my new life. The aftermath was swift. Frank's driving record became public, resulting in a suspended license and hefty fines. Tom's company, alerted by the divorce proceedings, launched an internal investigation into his relationship with Amber, who was his subordinate. Meanwhile, I accepted Jeremy's job offer in Boston. Packing up my life felt liberating. Each box I packed was another step toward freedom. On my first day at the new firm, I was nervous but excited. "Welcome aboard, Sarah," Jeremy greeted me warmly. "We're thrilled to have you." Months flew by as I threw myself into my work, rediscovering my passion for creativity. My colleagues became my new friends, and slowly I began to heal. 3 years later, I found myself standing on a stage in New York, accepting the Innovative Design Award for a campaign I had spearheaded. As I gave my speech, a news ticker caught my eye on a screen in the back of the hall. Evans and Sons facing bankruptcy. CEO Tom Evans steps down amid scandal. I felt a brief pang, quickly replaced by a sense of satisfaction. They had made their beds, and now they had to lie in them. Later that night, surrounded by my new friends and colleagues at a celebratory dinner, I raised my glass. To new beginnings and true friends, I toasted as laughter and conversation filled the air. I looked around the table at the people who had supported, challenged, and celebrated me. These were my real family now. For the first time in years, I felt truly happy. The road had been hard, but I had come out stronger. As I sipped my champagne, I smiled to myself. The future was bright, and it was all mine. The story has come to an end, but now we'd love to hear from you. If you were in Sarah's shoes, would you have confronted Tom about the affair immediately, or would you have waited to gather more evidence like she did? How would you have handled the betrayal differently? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experiences and perspectives would help others facing similar situations. If you found Sarah's journey compelling, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel for more stories of resilience and triumph over toxicity. Your support helps us continue sharing these important narratives. Thanks for watching, and remember, you're stronger than you know.